we're now looking at the fourth youngest player to score 50 points in a basketball game at 20 years and 314 days. Victor Wembanyama, of course, who else would have done it except for him, has scored 50 points in a basketball game. And then at 7'4", fun fact, he is the tallest to do so. Wembanyama was 18 of 29 from the field, adding 6 rebounds, 3 blocks in 32 minutes. Yes, you heard me right. 32 minutes. I think when he hit 50, I'm pretty sure he was at 29 because I was talking to my cousin when we were looking at it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's at 29 minutes when he hit 50. So pretty insane stuff. For his career, Wembanyama has now recorded a 50-point game, a 5x5 game, and a 10-block game. Just 3 other players have done that. That's AD, that's Drew's favorite player right there. Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson can all lay claim to those accomplishments since blocks became an official stat since the 73-74 merger. It took Wembanyama 83 career games to record his first 50-point. That is the 4th fewest games needed since the merger in 76 and 77. So we got to talk about it. Man, I feel like when it comes to Wemby, this year he started off real slow because I felt like he was a little inefficient. He's gotten to the point now where, like, I want to ask you a question. Victor Wembanyama has one of two places to go. He could be KD or he could be like Giannis. And he's kind of playing like KD with how he's shooting beyond the arc right now. How do you feel about something like that?
I don't know if there's a comparison
That's the best you could
acceptable
do. Yeah.
for Wemby at this point because he's a much better shooter than Giannis, and
Yeah.
he's already here so early into his career. And I don't know if there's a comparison for Wemby. You know what? Honestly, when I think if I devote a lot of brain power to thinking about Victor, you know who I think about? And I don't mean to put a storm cloud on this podcast, but you know who I think about when I think of Wemby? I think of Yao Ming, and I think about the feet injuries and the stress fractures because like humans were not built to be that big and have that much weight on their feet.
Yeah.
And I think about some of these athletic freaks. I think about like Zion, and
Yeah.
I just say to myself, instead of getting wrapped up into me comparing Wemby and what he may be 15 years into his career, I'm just gonna watch and I'm gonna be astounded. I'm gonna enjoy it because
Yeah.
we're not guaranteed to get 15 years out of this ball player. And I hope we do. But every time he does something crazy, every time I see now, obviously he's much more athletic. He's got a much smaller frame than Yao Ming, but it's just when you're that big, the stress fractures in your feet, that stuff just comes on so quickly. So I don't know if there's a comparison. I do think that this list of players that have scored 50 is freaking hilarious because you basically have 8 superstars and then a mixture of Brandon Jennings and Kevin Porter Jr. on there, which is fantastic. But it's definitely a great list to be on. I think if we had had this podcast a week ago, we would have said something along the lines of like Wemby shooting too many 3-pointers. Like he's shooting
Yeah.
28% from
Yep.
the 3-point line. It's not a good look. He needs to, especially since his post game is super underdeveloped. He doesn't look like super great down there. Now I just
Yeah.
watched him play against Sabonis and the Spurs won. They did beat the Kings, but he didn't have much in the post with Sabonis, but he was knocking down those threes like crazy. So
Yeah. I'm with you. Um, on top of talking about Wemby, what I wanted to throw in here as well is for the 4 youngest players that are being mentioned, I wanted us to go ahead and rank those 4 performances. So again, 4 youngest players that have a 50-point game. We have 4 guys: Brandon Jennings, Devin Booker, LeBron James, and now Victor Wembanyama joins that list. Drew, we can go ahead and start off with number 4. Drew and I haven't talked about where we have our rankings. I can start or you could start. Totally up to you.
you go first.
All right, so surprisingly enough, I'm gonna put LeBron at 4 for his 50-point game. And man, I'm LeBron stands here, so I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be like 2, 1, like 3. Like he's not gonna be last, but I ended up putting LeBron at the 4 spot. It didn't really have a lot to do with how bad the performance was or field goal percentage. He still shot 50% from the field, 50% from 3. He grabbed 10 more boards, 5 assists, like 2 steals. I It's just about what everyone else did in a shorter amount of time or better field goal percentage or all 4 of these performances are elite performances. I just felt LeBron's was just a little bit shorter off the mark compared to the other 3. So that's at my 4 spot.
Yeah, I got LeBron at 4 also, and I don't know, I feel like in a bubble, maybe his performance should be higher, but it's LeBron, you know? Like, he's had, like, 4 consecutive triple doubles now, I think. He just set a record for that, and you're just like, it's like, "Yeah, it's LeBron James. He's the greatest basketball player in the world." Like, "Yeah, it's LeBron James. He's the
He
greatest
said
basketball player in the
it
world."
was it was 3 in a row, and he beat his own record for oldest player to have 3 in a row. Whose record was it before?
Oldest player to have 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Bill Russell?
Nope, it was his own record from 5 years ago. 30
Oh,
for 30 35 years old and now doing it 40. So
that
5
makes
years ago,
sense.
man, it's crazy. Yeah, but again, yeah, Bron at 4 for sure.
Plus, I remember LeBron when he came into the league. I know you're a little bit younger than me, but his first game was against the Kings, and he was already anointed. You know what I mean? Like, he was
Chosen one, yeah.
already like, "This is gonna be one of the best basketball players we ever seen,"
Yeah,
which I don't care what anybody says, that's what makes him so fantastic is they put this crown on his head at 18 years old. He's never had an off the court scandal,
yep.
although, Diddy list pending.
Ain't no
He's
party like a
never
Diddy party.
yeah, right? Like, he's achieved everything he's ever supposed to achieve,
Yep.
and it's just crazy how his career has turned out, but maybe the fact that, it's just like they gave Steve Nash 2 fake ass MVP awards that belonged to Kobe because they were tired of giving
Bro, and he was a
certain guys the
runner-up in a
award.
3rd one too. Crazy as shit.
And so it's like LeBron can't win it every year, so I can't put him number 1 on this list because he's the
Right.
greatest of all time and everything else, so I'm gonna put him in at 4.
Yeah, we give him his flowers enough, we don't gotta do it everywhere else. What about at 3?
Um, I got Wemby at 3.
I have Brandon Jennings at 3.
See, I don't think that Brandon Jennings is a very good basketball player, so the
Mhm.
fact that he scored 50 in an NBA game
In his
is
7th game
fantastic
ever?
to me.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah.
He
I mean,
shot
he
7 from 8
literally
from 3 too.
that dude was not even let's do the math.
Brandon Jennings,
He was
2K
only
legend.
he was only 336 minutes into his NBA career, and he had the best game of his career, and it's funny because then he never even really, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't there's some other guys on this top 10 list that went on, Amari Stoudemire's on this top 10 list, like, uh, Paulo's on this top 10 list
Yeah.
for a 50-point game, right? These are players that went on to do great things, and then you have Brandon Jennings, and you're just like, "Oh,
Hey, man.
yeah,
Hey,
I forgot about that."
if we're talking about guys who peaked as early as you can, who's the earliest guy that peaked?
I don't know, did someone drop 40 in their first game?
Is like Michael Carter Williams.
Oh, Michael Carter Williams, that's
Yep.
right.
Against the Heat. Yeah,
Rookie of the
man.
year Rookie of the year was like a Madden curse thing for a while. It was like, you didn't want a Rookie of the year.
Right. Yeah, so again, I got Brandon at the 3 spot. You have Victor at the 3. For me personally, I have Victor at the 2, and again, a lot of it has to do the minutes. He scored the 50 in 29 minutes. I know it says 32 total is what he played, but it was 29 by the time he hit it. So that's really the biggest thing for me right there is that minutes played. He still shot 50% from 3, 8 of 16, 62% from the field, which is going to be higher than anyone else on that top 4 from the field, and then he's tying LeBron for the 3-point percentage for highest on that list too. So again, 29 minutes. I had to put him at that 2nd spot.
Well, I'm glad that we both agree that Devin Booker's number 1, especially since he did
I
it
would hope
against
so.
the Celtics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to give flowers where they're due, man. No matter
Pretty
what.
sure they lost that game though.
I'm pretty 90% sure.
I think this I think the Suns lost to Boston in that game.
Yep.
What's crazy about that game, do you have the stats in front of him? Did in front of you? Didn't he only make 3 or 4 three-pointers in that game? Like, I think he
4.
shot like
Yeah.
40 free throws. How many free throws did he shoot?
He had, let me scroll over. He had 24 made free throws. Yeah,
Y'all couldn't
26
stop
shots.
fouling the man. You just
Yeah.
couldn't stop fouling the man. So,
Yeah, that's
what
nuts.
what what year was that? 2018?
17, if memory serves me correct.
Jeez.
Yep, 17.
Gee.
Double check on that one. Yep, March 24th, 2017 is the exact date. Yeah. That one's definitely a little bit more vivid than the rest of them for obvious reasons for me. So, yeah, definitely.
It's funny, I would honestly, I don't remember the LeBron game at all. There's just so many awards, but there's only been 11 70-point games in the NBA. So how could you forget one of those?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm there with you.